And good evening, folks. This is Vinny Miletti here with Miletti Law, the strongest name in law. This is the third video of the day. This is another Q&A. First, for starters, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Very important. Hey, listen, I want to brand on YouTube. I want to get up there. All right, need more subscribers. Always need more subscribers. So click the subscribe button. Make sure you go to the website www.milettilaw.com, milettilaw.com, milettilaw.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. Be in the know. Stay connected. Stay informed. All right, let's get down to this just real quickly. This is one of those Q&A Video University videos. I already did one earlier while I was dressed up decently on employment law. I did one on intellectual property. On this one, it was a quick question, just briefly on an e-commerce question, because I usually do one on employment, one on intellectual property, and one on e-commerce, because those are the three things that I do routinely every single day. So I do business transactions, all kinds of stuff, litigation on that. All right, so let's get down to it. So the e-commerce question that came in had to do with managing fraud in e-commerce cases. So essentially, long story short, fraud's rampant, right? Everything is e-commerce, everything's online. There's very few, people aren't physically checking cards. You have great programs out there that do fraud checks, that do verification programs. Somebody had a question, said, what are some things I could do to prevent active fraud? Especially nowadays, you see all over the news, you see countries like in Europe, those old former Soviet Union blocks where they're just basically doing whatever they want to do. They're hackers left and right. Cybercrime is through the roof. Every time you see things like Google recycle, and it's probably somebody trying to mess with your account, and Google does an auto refresh and set. So all right. So the question is, what are some good steps? What are some nice easy steps I could take to prevent fraud on my e-commerce website? Couple things I just kind of thought out loud real quickly. Have a cyber security policy, cyber insurance policy. A lot of times you see social engineering where somebody will call up and pretend they're somebody they're not, and try to convince someone on the phone to give a credit card number or to make a purchase illicitly with using somebody else's credit card number. That's all called social engineering. So one of the things you could do is you could buy a nice cyber insurance policy, nice cybersecurity policy. Company that does it, pretty popular company, is called Hiscox, and they do it online. Very cheap way to do it. No real broker on the phone, no real underwriter. You can just kind of do it automatically on their website. Second thing you could do is you can invest a little money in a verifications program. I'm sure things like Shopify or whatever platform you use to sell your e-commerce products, I'm sure that they have verifications programs. They would assist. Maybe you could help. Maybe you could pay for a better service, whatever the case is. So a verifications program and a team is very important. Verification, just so you know, will verify that the card is legitimate, verify that the transaction is legitimate, that the charge is legitimate, etc. Excuse me. So the third thing I'd probably recommend is having a clear policy in place in terms of how to handle fraudulent claims and how to process credit card payments. So clear policy meaning that you have specific rules that is specifically established based on how you process transactions, how your team processes transactions, because what'll ultimately wind up happening is through that monotony, through that repeatable system that you do, when you start seeing things go outside of the system, it raises a red flag. So you always want to have, you want a clear policy in place and a process in place on how that operates and how that functions, so you could find the one-offs. Another thing, cyber risk training, getting a training program that teaches you about phishing, teaches you about all these other online phishing things that you see, these links that people click on, they send that they look like they're from legitimate sources, but they're really not. Those situations, you click on those, they steal passwords, they steal information. So you want a good training module to just make you aware of how to spot those things. So training would be the fourth one, and the fifth item I could recommend would be having a good VPN secure connection. Having a secure connection is key. You want to make sure that anything, any way you're logging in remotely or whatever it is you're doing, you're funneling through a nice a nice secure network that you're creating, a nice portal that you manage, your team manages, your e-commerce team manages. Make sure everything's secure, make sure everything that is proper safeguards in place. That's going to be key, and the VPN helps you get there. I forgot what a VPN stands for off the top of my head. Maybe I don't know, virtual portal. I don't know, something I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's called VPN though. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now because I'm tired and it's late. And I just did want to get one more video out. So listen, so just to recap really quickly, the Q&A here, I know what are some quick steps I could take in managing fraud in my e-commerce business, how to reduce and mitigate fraud. Step 1, get a cybersecurity policy. Step 2, invest a little money in a verifications team, enhancing your verifications program. Step 3, have a clear policy and a clear protocol in place that you could repeatedly process in the same method every time, so you could find one-offs that raise red flags. 4, training for phishing for your employees, training for yourself, how to recognize phishing emails, how to recognize problem emails. And number 5, having secure connections, maybe like a VPN, some kind of port, just something where even when you're remote, you could all come into a centralized medium, which is fully protected, fully secured, and everything's in place that you need to make sure that's a great network in a situation, and that you're safe and protected. So those are the 5. That's a quick 5. That's a quick 5 items for managing fraud in e-commerce and the Q&A. So I hope this was helpful. And that's it. Longer than usual for a Q&A, but it is what it is. It was a long question, I guess. All right. Have a good night. Yours in laws, loves, and lives. Vinny Miletti. Boom. Great. The most strongest name in law. Have a good day. Good night.